All right, so pinch harmonics. So I think what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go the quick and dirty route and give you some ways, some tips and tricks, some hints on how to do it, and then after, for those who want to stick around, I'll go into a little bit more about how and why. Okay, so first thing, you want to pick. It's harder to do with fingers. Now, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go to the side and I'm going to show you how I normally hold the pick and hit the string, and then how I do it when I'm doing a pinch harmonic. It's automatic for me now. I had to really stop and think about it. So we're going to come up here and we'll look and see the pick. Here's straight note, and then so you can see pretty well I hold my pick up pretty close. This is just how I always hold it. That's just how I always hold the pick. So what I'm doing now is, when I hit the note normal, you can see I'm almost flat. There's a little bit of an angle, right? But when I do a pinch harmonic, I kind of dig under and out, and I go with a little bit more of an angle. Okay, so I'm using more of an angle, so I'm using more of the side of the pick, and I'm also getting this thumb, getting the meaty part of this thumb in here onto the string, and I'll show you why in a second, because that's where the magic happens. I think the pick angle for me probably just helps with getting my thumb in there, because the real magic is getting that thumb in there. So, and how I can prove that to you is, all right, that's a pinch harmonic. Now I'm going to do just a regular note and then touch my thumb to it. You hear the harmonic come in? Okay, so all a harmonic is kind of multipliers of the waveform. When you look at a piano, when you hit like a middle C on a piano and you look inside the piano, there's 3 or 4, however many strings in there that all combine to make that note. Well, when you hit a single note on a guitar, it's the same way. What you're hearing there is the note itself, in this case a D, but you're also hearing a number of different harmonics, but you don't hear them so well because the main note is just so meaty. It's a lot thicker and it's a lot louder. So if you want to hear just a harmonic, you have to carefully mute out the regular note on the string. So we can see how that works even with standard open harmonics, right? I can hit the note, but if I want the 5th fret harmonic, I have to touch it, and that's going to deaden. That's going to deaden the note itself and only give us the harmonic, right? And you can do that anywhere, 5th fret harmonic, right? Let's say 7th. 7th fret harmonic. So, here, I'm on the 4th fret. So 4 plus 7 is what? 11. Right? So, anywhere that you're fretting a note or a chord, the 5th, 7th, and 12th fret above that is going to be one of the more prominent natural harmonics. Artificial harmonics, you kind of have to dig a little for. But as you can see, when I did just touching my thumb to it, they're there. Now, if you want to, so you have, that's where that thumb comes in there, because after you hit the note, you have to very carefully mute the root note, but let the harmonic ring out. And it's a skill. It's a skill that you work on like any other. But it's one of those things that once you get it, you've got it. You know, I mean, you may miss one here or there, but, you know, once you get it and it's under your picking hand, it's under your fingers, you're not going to, you take a year off from playing guitar, you come back, you're going to remember how to do that. So one of the problems, though, is artificial harmonics, they can be in different places along the string, even depending on the different guitar. You know, this happens to be a 25.5-inch scale guitar, meaning it's 25.5 inches from the bridge point to the nut point. Okay, there's a Les Paul back there where it's 24 3/4. There's a PRS over here where it's 25, and there's this crazy Ormsby, which if you can kind of zoom in and see it, it's what they call a fan fret. The scale length is different depending on which string you're at. With the low string, the thickest string, I think it's 27.5, and with the high E string, it's 25.5. That's a whole nother story. But either way, the scale of the guitar, the number and type of pickups, all of that can affect where you find the harmonics on the string. Okay? I know, it sounds like a pain in the ass, but once you find them, they're in similar places. It may be an 1/8 of an inch forward or 2 millimeters back or whatever, but they're all in basically the same place. You just have to, if you switch guitars, you just got to kind of tweak it and find it. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go with the B note on my G string. That's 4th fret G string, because it's one of my favorites for whatever reason. And I'm just going to go, and I'm going to use my pinch harmonic methodology, and I'm going to go up and down the string. All right, so you can hear that there are pinch harmonics all up and down. All right, so they're all over the place. You just have to attack them right and find them, and then get used to them where they are on your particular guitar. Now, there's another school of thought, and even Jack mentioned it. She's like, the distortion helps, and in a sense it does, but it's not actually the distortion part that's helping. This is where I'm getting into a little bit more of kind of the reasoning behind it. See, the thing is, those harmonic notes, they're not as loud as the primary note, right? So, I mean, I can even with the sound off, I don't know if you can hear that from the microphone right here, but I'm getting that harmonic. No sound, no amp, no anything. And now I'm on a clean channel. It's a clean channel with some compression. And you hear it, right? All right, so it's actually not the distortion that brings it forward, it's the compression. But how that works with distortion, if you're not familiar, all distortion is it's based around saturation. There's all kinds of different circuits that can simulate it, but essentially, the classic gain distortion is cranking up the input so much that it's breaking up. It's analog breakup, and that's the distortion. You ever have your earbuds or someone's stereo at home or whatever, and you crank it all the way up, you're going to hear some distortion in that. It's going to sound messy. It's going to sound nasty. Well, it's the same kind of thing that you do with a guitar and gain. But what happens inside the amplifier is it pushes it all up, it overdrives it. It's it's overdriven, it's breaking up, it's crunchy, it's nasty, but then it has a sort of compression attached to it as well that brings it back down to the volume level that you're playing at. So one of the natural offsets of distortion is compression, and that's why you hear your harmonics better. I have a little compression on this clean channel. Let me see if I turn off the compression. Let's see what happens. I'm using my trusty Axe effects here. Let's turn off the compression. Okay, no compression on that. Let's see. It's still there, but it's not quite as loud. I have to indulge myself for a second. I love doing a clean sound with a bridge humbucker and a middle or neck split coil, single coil. So you get all the fatness and roundness of the humbucker and the noise canceling of it, but you also get that clean single note strat chimey sound mixed in with it. That's my favorite kind of clean. Let me put the compression back on. All right, anyway, I'm getting away from myself. So it's really the compression that gives you, the happiness moment with your harmonics. But so again, really comes right down to having that pick, not only your angle of pick rotated, but also for me, kind of getting in behind it and what Troy Grady or Ben Eller would call outward pick slanting, right? So when I hit that note, when I want a harmonic, you can see my motion is going from inside the string to outside. And whereas normal playing, I'll just so you can see how I'm switching back and forth between normal and kind of an outward pick slanting. And I do that again. I do that solely to get my thumb where I'm used to it, to mute out the bass note and only allow the harmonic to ring out. So try it in a bunch of different ways, turn your pick different ways, and mostly just take and, get that motion down, get that outward pick slanting, dig in and pull out, and work your way up and down the string. I find it to be easiest on some of the middle strings, whether wound or plain steel. I like the G string and the D string, to be honest. So keep trying it, keep getting it. You may be able to hit one once in a while, and it's like the cavemen with fire, right? So the cavemen had fire, and when the fire went out, they're like, how do we get fire again? They didn't know. But if they saw a lightning strike and they found fire, it's like, fire, we got fire back. But it took them a long time to figure out how to make the fire themselves. And, then 8,000, 12,000 years later, they made a shitty movie about it. And 3 or 4 years after that, Iron Maiden made a shitty song about it. Sorry, Maiden fans. I'm among you, but be honest. Quest for Fire is not a good song. So you are in the phase right now where you occasionally find fire, and you need to get yourself to the place where you know how to make fire. And that's actually really cool to me that I'm equating artificial pinch harmonics with fire, because they are fire. But that's really that's it, and you just have to figure out how to get it on your own. The big thing is digging into the note and getting the flesh of that thumb, or even the palm if that's what works better for you, but the thumb is going to be better, to barely touch the string in the right place so that only the harmonic rings out. And so you have to move up and down the string, and you have to try different things. But once you find it, happiness will continue. And I think that's about all for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. If you have any other questions, pin them down in the bottom. Shoot me a PM. But more than likely, just put something in the thread. So because if you have the question, then more than likely half a dozen other people have it too. And if I get enough questions, maybe I'll try to do a different or better video to respond to those questions or whatever. But for now, that's it. This is Captain Ed signing off. And yeah, be good to yourselves and to each other. Peace.